Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we get to the heart of the credits of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And we are joined again by our old pal and big sister, Christy Porter. Welcome back, Christy.
That's Christy Marcus Porter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for
Hey,
having me
You took
back.
the same confirmation name?
yeah, please tell me Marion is your confirmation name.
Sure.
What is your confirmation name?
Elizabeth Joan.
Joan?
Mary
It is
Christine.
not Elizabeth Joan.
Mary Christine Elizabeth Joan.
Wow.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I actually finally remember what my confirmation name was. I couldn't remember when we were discussing it during Raiders, but I remember what it was. Thomas.
No.
Thomas
No,
Taylor.
it's not.
It is.
You want
like
them,
Daniel
Danny
Daniels.
Daniels?
I just took Thomas. I
Wow.
don't go by it. I don't sign my checks Thomas William Taylor or something.
Wait
No,
a minute. You're Thomas William Thomas Taylor?
No, I'm Thomas William Taylor Jr., but I needed to have a confirmation name.
And you picked
It's not part of my
Thomas?
name now. Yeah, Thomas. I'm like, well, okay, this is St. Thomas. I'm Thomas. All right, this works.
Oh my God.
You
I
know,
reinvent the wheel.
I'm my kids' godparents when they were baptized too. We got in trouble for that. So there.
Oh, wait, what? You're your own kid's godparents?
I am my own kids' godparents, and
Wow.
Disgusting.
I know.
The first group said that was fine, and the second group was like, "Why, you can't do that? Why, that's crazy." And I said, "It's on page 79 of the missal." But
Conflict
okay.
of interest.
Are you planning to come back as a ghost if something happens to you?
No.
Actually, all I know about godparents, aren't they supposed to take care of the kids if something happens to you?
So you're saying that would be a problem then? A logical problem.
Didn't you have me penciled in, but I was deemed irresponsible?
Penciled in.
That's why she put her own name. She started
Scrambled.
writing Gerald Christopher.
You stayed up all night and found you stayed up all night and you found all sorts of reasons why you couldn't do it. But you took it very seriously. It was which was lovely, you know. But then you're like, but no, won't be doing it. All right.
I would love to see that list that he came up with.
I sleep in a lamb's wool coat on the couch.
I eat too many white beans.
Yeah. No kid on the earth deserves to see that red Puma jacket.
All right. The Porter's neuroses aside, we're here to discuss minute 115 of Raiders. No, God, that was so sad. It wasn't Raiders at all, was it? It was 115. Pete just pointed out before we started that Raiders ended on 115. So now we're actually going longer than we did last time with minute 115. Minute 115 of Temple of Doom begins with the credit for the second assistant cameraman, Terry Brown, and Danny Shelmerdine. Danny Shelmerdine. And ends with the credit for charge hand standby props, Joe Dipple and Bernie Hearn. And I want to say right now, Joe Dipple and Bernie Hearn, those are two of the best names in the credits, I
Best
think.
name.
I
Right
have
there.
those in my notes. Yep.
Really?
I love those names.
Yeah.
Well, you totally blew it on Taffy Haynes.
No, Taffy Haynes is great, but Joe Dipple
Yeah.
and Bernie Hearn.
You both totally blew it on Nobby Godden.
Nobby Godden. Yeah, I knew
I
it.
saw Nobby Godden.
Nobby Godden.
That's right.
Camera maintenance, Nobby Godden.
Wow.
Sounds like someone from New England. Nobby Godden.
Well, if I ever get a confirmation name, it's going to be Nobby Godden.
There you go. I'm counting the Toms and Sams and Jodies. There's still no Sams and no Jodies. There's probably not going to be any Jodies. But there are a bunch of Toms in this one. There's Tom Smith, the makeup supervisor, who won an Academy Award for Gandhi? Okay.
Wow.
We make fun of
Oh,
Gandhi
yeah?
a lot in all the awards of this one.
The makeup supervisor?
I panicked for a second because I thought that Gandhi was the same year as An American Werewolf in London. I'm like, are you kidding me? It beat American Werewolf in London for best makeup? But that was the year earlier, so it's okay.
But it's good though because you started this season out with enraged about Gandhi winning awards, and it's kind of nice you're ending it that way.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I guess we're in India, so we got on Gandhi. But yeah, that's
Well, you were mad it beat Tron for best costume.
I'll always be mad about that. That's
Wow.
doesn't make any sense. It's lunacy.
The second, the guy he was supervising was actually all sorts of big makeup artist guy. That's Peter Rob King. He did all kinds of things. Alien 3 and Princess Bride. And,
Oh, wow.
yeah, Force 10 from Navarone.
Wow.
And,
with,
Rocky Horror.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what caused Barbara Streisand to whip him.
That's right. Oh, there's another Tom, assistant sound editor Tom Christopher, who's actually, and the name after that is a Kathleen, and my sister's name is Kathleen. So that's nice. And there's a bunch of Janets in this one, you guys. My mom's name is
that's nice.
Janet. And since my dad's name is Tom also, that means that my nuclear family is well represented in this in this 1 minute. Oh, we get double Toms too with the audio technicians Tom Johnson and Tom Martin. So that's
This is fascinating.
You're really rubbing this family thing in Shorty's face, aren't
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Shorty's
Some people
face.
have loved ones around them who never go away, and they're there when you need them, and yeah, it's beautiful, Shorty. Sorry.
Well, we get that old industrial truck march thing mixed with I guess is it the slave theme?
Yeah. The
Okay.
slave cruise. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
get that great modulation thing again we were talking about back in the mine where it goes like it,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
love
you
that.
talking about second? Is it 38 and 40, where it was that scene where they're unlocking all the manacles with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
keys, and
Yeah.
there's that. You know what? I'm wondering, is that like a whacked out trombone?
Yeah, I
think
was
so,
actually
yeah.
Christopher
Yeah.
DeGuardi and I were talking about that, and he thought it was like someone playing a trombone so that the slide's about to fall off the end.
Right,
Like
right,
you just
right.
go way to the very lowest
Yeah, you
register.
go way to the very end, or maybe even a bass trombone or something.
How does that work with the manacle scene?
They threw it in there, and it was like part of the music, but for some reason it kind of just sounds like you're getting dizzy.
Yeah. Or it's like an elephant.
Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it is. It's like a trombone on drugs or something.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes all over the place, and it's sort of that vibe of where Indy looks at the cobra,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Raiders.
yeah.
It's like,
Oh, we also get a credit for Sprocket Systems, which was
Yeah.
the predecessor of Skywalker Sound.
Is that what that
So
is?
it's
Oh, wow.
it's like
Nice.
the proto Skywalker Sound before they moved to Skywalker Ranch.
Were they in LA at the time, or were they up in the Bay Area?
They were not. They were. Yeah, I think they might have been in L.A. because they moved up to
Yeah, to Skywalker Ranch.
Skywalker Ranch, and I think 87.
Okay.
That's when they became Skywalker Sound.
Okay. The only other name I've got in the credits is Indian advisor Christy Janaki Rathode.
Oh, there is a Christy. I missed it.
Yep.
There you go.
So we've got Christy, and B, I was just curious if she had any regrets about how Indian things were portrayed in this film,
oh, that's interesting.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
if she didn't do her job.
yeah.
or they didn't
Oh,
listen.
I'm sure she had plenty
Yeah.
of notes, and they didn't listen to any of them.
Although I have to say, there was some goofiness in the movie, like the crazy dinner scene and everything. But the more we looked at some of the actual history, like behind Kali and Shiva and all that stuff, there was a surprising amount of meat that was actually real. That really blew me away watching it this time, because I never thought there was anything real in this.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now you know that Kali and Shiva are actually deities, or
Yes.
because I don't think they're portrayed that well. I have to say. We would have to ask the other Christy.
They kind of put a putty knife over it a bit here and
A
there.
bit.
Well, I never knew
Yeah.
she really wore like a skirt made out of arms,
Right.
Oh,
No, I'm with you, Pete. I'm with you.
or like the rotator cuff offering, that kind of stuff.
Or even just like there's two faces of Kali.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she had the whole thing sticking out the tongue and
Yeah.
all that
Well,
stuff.
that part. I think it's the lowering down in the pit that for the That's probably not quite the same thing.
No, there are definitely some issues.
Some levels there.
Yeah. But there was this, I'm just glad that there was a little bit of truth that kind of shone through too.
Yep.
Oh, wait a second. Whoa.
What?
What?
Telegraph
What's
machine's
that?
coming alive, but it's really shaking here. It's a big one.
Wow.
Whoa, hang on a second.
Busted?
What? I need your help here, Chriser.
Okay, I'll help. Oh, wow. Okay. Is it something.
Boop, 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 boop.
Boop, with a
Boop,
doop.
boop, boop,
Boop, boop, boop.
What are we doing?
Well, is something that just in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Tell us.
This is just in from Mom.
Oh, my
my
God.
Who knew? Just in from Mom.
Original
So
Mirror Bear.
the original mirror. Yeah, she owned the Duck's Mouth. As a matter of fact, still does. Well, Mom says over the wire that she has two quotes, and she wants us to choose the right one, the one that resonates.
Okay.
And so quote number one from Mom says, "The sustained furor, visual panache, and headlong momentum makes for dazzling cinema, all of which makes this movie possibly Spielberg's most underrated film." All right, now keep that one in mind.
That's about Temple of Doom?
Yeah, that sounds just like Mom.
Yeah.
Second quote, "Despite superior chase sequences and dazzling stunts, this loud and frenzied sequel is mostly an exercise in excess. It's loud, creepy, violent, and at times incoherent." Unquote.
That's Dad. That's clearly Dad.
Well, all right. Well, what do you think? Which is it?
The terms creepy and incoherent are resonating with me. But I also, I forget what the other adjectives were, but...
Excess.
Exercise
I don't
and
know if I go with
excess.
excess. I mean, it's an action adventure movie. It's, it's doing what it's got to do in that realm. I mean, I guess you could, at the time, people are probably like, oh, ripping a heart out? For crying out loud. That's a little much. But that falls under creepy, I think.
What's funny is the word they use is loud.
Loud.
It's just that plain. Loud.
They use it
Movie's
twice in that
loud.
quote.
Wait, can you read Mom's first quote again?
Yeah, Mom's first quote is, "The sustained furor, visual panache, and headlong momentum makes for dazzling cinema, all of which makes this movie possibly Spielberg's most underrated film."
I mean, that's got Pete Mummer written all over
Yeah,
it.
it does.
I don't really even need to respond to that. Responding to that will just be...
Pete, have you been feeding quotes to my mother? Nothing nice.
Yeah, I do actually feel like this is an underrated movie, and I have not been able to drag many of you along with me in that belief. But when I started watching this movie, not really liking it that much. Like, this was by far my least favorite of the original movies, and it's definitely a strong number 2, I think, right now. At least until we get to Last Crusade.
So you're saying this, you like Raiders first.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
I don't think you can top Raiders, but I think this
Sure.
is. I mean, at one point in my excitement, I may have even called it a dark masterpiece, and I mean maybe that was a little strong, but I think
Maybe.
this movie has an incredible amount to offer, and I think it's an amazing roller coaster ride, and it's so much fun, and it has a surprising amount of depth, and I think it's wonderful.
Chriser, what are your thoughts on the quotes?
I'm gonna go with "Despite superior chase sequences, dazzling stunts, loud, frenzied sequel is mostly an exercise in excess. Loud, creepy, violent, and at times incoherent." Word for word.
Yeah, there's a couple Sankara Stone gems in that second one. Incoherent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it did have good stunts, and it did have good chase scenes.
It did.
and-
That quote makes it sound like the writer is, or I mean, your mom is just fully dismissing the movie. So is it possible for me to go along with most of that quote, but not dismiss the movie and enjoy the movie?
Sure.
Okay,
That.
I'll do that.
It'll break Mom's heart. That'll be fine. And Dad's heart, be fine. Not a problem. When Mom was looking up these quotes, of course, she noted that both Siskel and Ebert both really, really liked this movie. They both thought it was great. And in fact, Ebert thought that it was not so much as a sequel, but an equal. How about that?
Wow.
Keith Mummer?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow.
That's weird.
Wow, they both liked it, and they actually don't agree. They didn't agree on anything, but they agreed on this one.
That's
and they liked
interesting.
It. They both liked it.
I'd be curious if they were around to watch it today, if they would have the same reaction. Like, I'm curious how much of that is 1984 talking, and if you can still watch it today and feel like it's the equal of Raiders. Just like because there are definitely things you have to overlook, I think, in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, even as someone who loves it, I still think there are things you have to overlook that I don't think Raiders had.
Oh, one of the tough things is if you're judging it purely on roller coaster style action, it's terrific.
Oh yeah,
If you're just doing that, it's just fantastic. If you want a little bit more meat in there and you want some things to make sense, that's where it's kind of Swiss cheesy. But a lot of movies, a lot of blockbusters are like that. It's all just explosions and car chases and all sorts of that stuff. And I guess that's why this was a blockbuster too.
Yeah, but some of them are smart and well
Yeah.
thought out.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And you know what? We had a red flag, and it was way early on, and it was when we all struggled, and we did it off the mic. The three of us sat down and said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? And it was around minute like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the diamond, the antidote, whatever. And it was kind of, and the band started playing and the music started. It was way back in Club Obi-Wan. And we're going, what the hell's going on? And I remember somebody said, the stakes are low. You don't ever really feel like Indiana Jones is in trouble.
Right.
And so it is Keystone Copy, and it kind of just kept that, It kept that aspect in there throughout the movie.
Not at the end. I mean, at the end, that is like a solid 30 minutes of action, 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 action. So actually, I could ask you guys, so was that just too much action? I mean, 30 minutes of everything.
Yeah. To me, I think that's why everybody chuckling ending kind of helps, because you need a little minute to relax there, just because you've gone like at this breathtaking, exhilarating pace for a half hour.
True.
And it doesn't let up.
No.
Right.
Like straight from, he's fighting Mola Ram, they're in the mine carts, they're in the water, they're on the bridge. Like it doesn't stop at all.
Yeah.
So then how do they get from that to and we're all just strolling into the village?
As chips as the ending is of Temple of Doom, I like I said, it pulls at my indie strings.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it feels like I'm going to go outside and, Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters is going to be playing. And down the street I could go, buy some bubblegum cards with, Gremlins cards in it and stuff.
It was a sweeter
it's
time,
like the summer of
Tom.
1984.
Yeah, and get some new Coke.
Yeah, get some new Coke.
I think that was 85. Was that 85?
New Coke?
Diet Coke was actually 85.
Oh, you're kidding. Really?
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Weird.
Who do you think signed up for all the Diet Coke in the world?
Oh, wow.
It's like, where have you been all my life? No, New Coke was later.
I'd be curious, though, because we've brought up several times on the show that it seems like the way people rank these often has to do on when they were born and the circumstances under which
totally.
they first saw these. And I'm curious if we had been born, 4 or 5 years later, if we would look at these differently as well.
I kind of guarantee it, and I don't like thinking about that because it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite movies would be this and Goonies.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Nothing wrong with Goonies.
No, I like Goonies. Super weird, but I like it.
It would be super
Yeah.
weird if that's your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Apologies.
By the way, New Coke was 1985.
I knew
Well
that.
done. No.
Yep, I knew it. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, they were taking risks all over the place.
It was renamed Coke 2 in 1992. Okay,
We talk about, like we said, the ending of Raiders is fascinating. And I don't know, I didn't really know it and think about it, until we did it a minute at a time. And I was just floored at, like, do they do the right thing? And, that whole discussion. I mean, there's none of that here. It's just sort of dispensed in a one line of, collect dust. Here, you kids. It'll, why didn't you keep the stone? What's the point of just being a museum? Anything can happen. Whoopage. Get over here.
Well, that is one of the problems. None of us, even those of us who love the movie, are quite sure why Indy made his final decision or what that final decision even was.
Jeez, exactly. And I feel like we talked about this a little bit, and I sort of was saying to Tommy a few days ago, like, oh, look, he had this moment, I guess, of clarity on the bridge where he's like, no, I'm supposed to, I'm working with Shiva here, and he's betrayed Shiva, and I understand. I'm going to let these stones go back to Earth. I'm not going to reach out and grab them and pocket them. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, so I guess that's that sort of. That's like that rickety, Mullah Ramshackle bridge that you're basing his decisions on.
Yeah.
Of why he, quote, does give up the fortune and glory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one to wrap your head around.
It's hard, it's hard to wrap up his decisions about it at the end, and we had an equally tough time trying to figure out what the actual goal was. When the two-pronged, stones and missing kids thing was presented, we're like, well, what's the movie about exactly? Tell me again.
He's really not interested in those kids.
Yeah.
But I think one of the strengths of the movie is that you could spend 30 years of your life not knowing the answers to that question and still love the movie and still find it an amazing ride and walk out of the movie and you're like, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have to pick a reason why that is, tell me right now. Why is that?
Oh, I think it's exhilarating. The action, the roller coaster. I mean, it's a roller coaster. The whole
is it the action though? Is that the reason?
Well, it's not just the action, but it's sort of nonstop thrills with Indiana Jones. In this same they've taken this 30s serial character and they've put him in a whole raft of new situations and experiences, and you ride the rapids with him.
Chris, did you like this movie when it came out? I mean, you're like the older, wiser sister.
Well, I'm like that. I'm not actually that. Very nice. I like it better now, watching it 1 minute at a time. But
Really?
what I really, really liked Raiders. So of course you want the sequel to be the same thing, and sequels are very, very rarely as good as. So. Although that wasn't true for Star Wars, I liked the second Star Wars that I saw was like let's get, and the crushing moment came for the third one, but that was sad. But I like it. I like it better now.
Yeah.
So you like it, but you like Temple of Doom better now. So that means
Well, that's actually not saying much. I really, really, really didn't like it.
Really? Why didn't you like it when it first came out? I mean, you were of age to like stuff. You were like 16 or whatever.
Because it was loud and creepy, and it was unbelievably violent and dark and unnecessarily so, and. Maybe I don't disagree with you, Pete. I think sometimes you can have really thrill-a-minute, really well-done movies and really enjoy them. And then sometime you need to have you just want a really super good plot. And that's, and then sometimes you need to find a balance within, and this was no kind of balance for me. I don't mind goofy movies. I don't mind, really thrill-seeking movies and whatever, but this was dark.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and a little half-baked. A little, I keep thinking, like, gosh, if they just had like another couple of passes at the script, they could have tightened some stuff up, figured some things out, and if they had protected Harrison Ford's back so they didn't have to like cut around and stuff.
And every time I turn around, they're deleting a scene that would have been useful.
Yeah.
So I mean. And it's not that I wanted it to be longer, goodness knows. I just,
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that creepy, dark part. And I think it's extraordinary how many movies have blockbuster success, maybe even a little bit unexpectedly. And they, instead of playing it safe and giving you the same thing you got the first time, they just go super dark and they just go crazy. And they pour out
They
these
sure
crazy
do.
imaginary dreams they've got. And it's sort of an extraordinary thing they did.
I will give that to them that they were trying to do something different than Raiders. I do admire
Yep.
that, and I think that's cool. And I never really thought about I'm sure we'll talk about this a ton, next season with the Last Crusade. But I knew, okay, it's Nazis again. It's Salah's there and everything. Like there's a lot of similarities, but I never really thought of it as they're like Temple of Doom sort of didn't do what they wanted it to, so now they're trying to redo Raiders or something. So I do admire that they didn't do that right off the bat, and that they tried to do something different. And that was the sense that I got of the movie when I watched it, like straight through before we did this. It's like, oh, this isn't Raiders. This is like Indiana Jones in this situation, like in a different place, a different kind of thing going on. It's like another Indiana Jones adventure that has nothing to do with Raiders.
did you think it was the same character or a different character too?
I understood that it was the same character. He looks just like Han Solo still. And he's got the hat. Yeah, no, so
I think he acts very
it's
different.
frustrating that it didn't work out better, and they could have done something even weirder and differenter with Last Crusade and Crystal whatever and stuff.
I would love to know what they would have done if they had gone another different direction with Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And I love Last Crusade. I don't want to give up Last Crusade, but
No.
I would love if they had gone, maybe had another movie.
Yeah. I for as we're recording this, I haven't watched Last Crusade in ages, like decades, and I remember liking it a lot, so I'll probably watch it soon, and I look forward to finding out what I think.
Oh, me too. I haven't seen the movie in 25 years.
Yeah.
I just watched all 4 in a row on a plane.
Oh, my
And that's a
word.
weird experience when you watch all 4 of them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet. What do you glean?
I was surprised how well I thought Temple of Doom stood up after Raiders. And I'll save a lot of my thoughts about Last Crusade, but it was slightly different than I had remembered it watching it last time, for sure. The other thing you glean is I didn't mention that other one,
That's true.
which I actually I'm gonna really everyone's gonna make fun of me. I didn't hate Crystal Skull. I don't love it, but I don't think it's the horrible movie everyone makes it out to be. I think it's still an Indiana Jones movie, and it has a lot of problems, but I still think it's a fun movie.
Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a compelling argument.
But maybe I'm going to turn into Tom, and it's just going to completely break me. And by the end of Crystal Skull, I'm just going to...
No, we're all going to be eating each other's feet by the end of Crystal Skull. It's going to be in little balls, just rocking back and forth.
Well, Jerry's feet have already exploded from the roller coaster ride.
Oh,
that's true.
God. It's disgusting.
It was so disgusting. Yeah.
I'm excited to watch the next 2 installments here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't remember anything about them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the next one. I love the mythology. I love the history. I love the movie itself. I love Sean Connery. There's so much to love in it.
All right. We got some more credits next week. We're not quite done with this thing yet. But Christy, thanks for joining us the last few days.
Oh,
This has been
thanks for
lovely.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be fun, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Yay.
Please say hi to your mom for me.
Yes.
I sure would.
Okay.
I sure will.
And get that Last Crusade DVD dusted off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Prepare yourself. And Pete, where can all the nice people get in touch with us and keep the home fires burning and put notes in our ducks' mouth?
Well, you can come to our Facebook group, Indiana Jones Minute and Listeners Crusade, and you can find out what we're working on now. You can hear more about our Patreon weekend show where we talk about Jaws and Close Encounters. You can hear what people think about this movie, and I would love to know what your thoughts are on Temple of Doom. Are you a quote A or a quote B person, or maybe you came up with your own quote? I would love to know kind of where people stand on this movie, like how they feel about it.
Yeah. Don't be shy.
We'll put a
Let your
poll up.
voice be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please come back on Monday. When
Yeah.
we'll be back for more, the beginning of the very end of Temple of Doom, here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Let's all do that bass trombone.
It never comes up though. It just
No.
down.
No.